Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 61st edition of Warrant Attitude. I, of course, am your host, Brent Biles, and with me, as always, is a man who is from the future and across the ocean. He is the ballroom brawl and disco dance dynamite stretch and Intercontinental Playboy. Folks, he's more over than kissing Dominic Mysterio. At GA Wrestling like Glenn Abbott. Glenn, how are you doing?
Who kissed Dom Don?
You didn't see this, huh?
Oh, I missed this.
I wanted to get you. Okay, there was two ladies in a cage match last night. One of which kissed Dominic Mysterio. It was Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan, and I'm gonna let you guess which one kissed him.
Liv Morgan.
Yep.
He's not going to be the married one.
No, I definitely that would be very strange if it was Becky.
Yeah.
That would have been something. But yeah, I didn't see it. I saw on social medias this morning.
So this is all about her getting her revenge on Rhea, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they're gonna have a ladder match for the love of Dominic Mysterio. That's something.
I've always wanted to see Dominic stuck on a pole.
Well, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people probably feel that way. Bro, we'll put Dominic on a pole, bro, and then we'll make him wrestle in bras and panties too, bro. Yeah, that'll bring everybody in, bro.
Yeah, Ray would volunteer to do that. Drop him down on a forklift.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, that happened. Like I said, I didn't see it, but I'd heard about it. Also, Gunther now is the king of the ring, and Nia Jax is the queen of the ring. They also announced that they will both be receiving championship matches at SummerSlam. So I think that's good.
It certainly is. At least it makes the king and queen worth something again.
Put some stakes in it.
Yeah. Because look what happened with Xavier Woods and poor old
Zelina Vega.
Selena Vega.
Yes.
They just sort of disappeared. They lost their crowns and disappeared.
Yeah, and I don't think any King of the Rings that they've done since, I would say 97 and 96, 97, because I don't really think it did anything for Ken Shamrock's career. It certainly didn't do anything for Billy Gunn's career. I don't think it changed. I don't think it changed the trajectory of Brock Lesnar's career. He didn't need to be king of the fucking ring. And then you had Baron Corbin, who was king of the ring for what felt like a fucking decade, right?
That's very true. Yeah, and that's because he built the gimmick.
Yeah, none of them were very good in the modern day. William Regal, I think, won it in 2008. They did a tournament, and that was actually really good. But then I think he ended up getting suspended shortly after. But he did a lot with that while he was allowed to. But other than that, they're just since '97, there hasn't really been any good King of the Rings.
Anyway, talking about '97 wrestling.
Yes.
We've got glorified Raw is War to watch here.
It was a glorified Raw is War, but I also didn't think it was a horrible pay-per-view. I thought it was.
It's not. It doesn't justify the critique it's had. I was because I'd heard that it was on the nasty list.
It was, on the not so good side of pay-per-views. No, England froze.
As I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted. This appears on worst pay-per-view lists on most of them. But I don't, apart from some dodgy finishes, which we got used to in 1997, yes. I don't think it was that bad.
Yeah, and maybe it's the old case of we went into this thing with not, high hopes going into it. We didn't think it was going to be that good going in, so maybe it was better by comparison. Because even nowadays, I think with WWE pay-per-views or premium live events, as they're called now, I think the shows where you don't really have an anticipation that it's going to be really good are always the ones that end up being really good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is very true.
Yeah, like I think there was SummerSlam last year. I mean, you went into it thinking it was going to be great, and it was a good show, but I just think that you had such high expectations that you couldn't meet it.
That is the trouble with a lot of these is people's expectations. After time, it's only because people have got it into their head something is going to happen.
Yeah,
and then it doesn't. And then get all disappointed because something that they wanted to happen didn't happen.
And then get mad.
Ever said by WWE it was going to happen.
Yeah, and then get mad about it because it didn't happen, even though no one ever gave you an indication that was going to happen.
It's like with the Uncle Howdy thing. There's all these dirt sheets. Oh, there's going to be Uncle Howdy. King of the Ring. Now, WWE never said it. The guy that has always concentrated on Bray Wyatt and all the mysterious stuff on YouTube, he never said it. But everybody else was going, oh, yeah, it's going to happen. And then when it didn't, of course, they've all got their knickers in a twist.
What I don't like, I don't understand what part of the show people thought that would have been a good time to debut it. I guess I don't understand that part.
No, I don't either. I couldn't see it.
In what match was Uncle Howdy going to interject himself that it would have made any sense at all?
That's right. Yeah, and I'm pretty good at writing the rest of this spooky.
Yeah, you're the rest of spooky guy, Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but anyway, so let's talk about it. We'll talk more about King of the Ring, I'm sure, with the mayor later this week. If he can put his samurai sword down for a second to possibly do. I'm just kidding. If you don't follow the mayor on Instagram, maybe you don't know what I'm talking about. But he posted a picture of himself holding a samurai sword. He said it's an inside joke, and I think we were talking about it because the chick from NXT always carries around the samurai sword.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, so it's In Your House, D-Generation X. It's December the 7th, 1997, from the Springfield Civic Center in Springfield, Massachusetts. This had 6,358 people at it, Glenn. I don't think there's as far as chance in hell that any WWE Premium Live event will ever have 6,000 people at it.
No.
Till probably the end of time.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not. It is now known as the Mass Mutual Center. It opened in 1972, but was revamped. What's the word? Revamped, yes, in 1996 or whatever the word is. It can now hold over 10,000 people, so they could get a show there now, but probably not a premium live event. So this arena has held many WWF/E house shows over the years, and held night 18 of the NWA WCW Great American Bash Tour in 1998. It's every week, man.
It was.
As sure as Kurt Hennig is going to main event that Monday Night Nitro, the Great American Bash Tour has been to one of these arenas, one of their 57 nights.
That is really milking the gimmick.
It really is. I can't make this up. They also had a Saturday night. Well, I'm sorry. The main event of that Great American Bash show, poor Ricky Steamboat had to carry Lex Luger to a good match. This poor bastard. This arena also held a Saturday night's main event, which was aired on April 30th, 1988, which featured Hacksaw Jim Duggan versus Andre the Giant, and newly crowned World Wrestling Federation champion Randy Savage defended his WWF Championship for the first time against the one-man gang. Also back in 1992, the Mountie defeated Bret Hart for the Intercontinental Championship at a house show, but he would go on to then lose the belt to Roddy Piper at the 1992 Royal Rumble. Just 2 days later, And if you happen to find yourself, Glenn, in Springfield, Massachusetts,
And why
on
wouldn't you?
June the 1st, go ahead, what were you going to say?
And I said, why wouldn't you?
Why
Go
wouldn't
see
you want to go?
those yellow people.
That's right. Why wouldn't you want to go visit Springfield, Massachusetts? And you can head to this very arena, Glenn, and you can check out Maroon 5 on Monday, July the 1st. Glenn, are you familiar with Maroon 5?
I am very familiar with Maroon 5, yes.
Do you like any Maroon 5 songs? I know some, obviously, if you played them, but I couldn't name you any.
Yeah, that's how I am with them. I know I've had a few in my day, but I couldn't name you any.
Well, there you go. That's all I've got for this arena. This is, if you have the WWE Network or Peacock, this is the last In Your House show in the In Your House section, although WWF will continue to use the In Your House tagline up until February 19th, 1999. And then, of course, bring it back in 2020 under the NXT brand. Let's talk about the buy rates. Glenn, are you ready to talk about some buy rates? So I'm just going to, for reference, WCW had Starrcade 1997, which was its biggest bought pay-per-view in the history of the company, not only up until that point, but ever. They never had a show that outsold Starrcade 1997 because that was when it was Sting versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan. It took place 3 weeks after this pay-per-view on December the 28th. It got over 700,000 buys and a 1.90 buy rate. The WWF In Your House Generation X by comparison did 144,000 buys at a 0.44 buy rate. So, in fact, Glenn, you could add up WrestleMania 13, SummerSlam 97, and Survivor Series 1997, and it would only have outsold Starrcade 97 by 37,000 buys.
Yeah, but that was a one-off.
Yeah.
You know, you had heel Hogan and Sting, and that's the perfect storm. So I'm not surprised that got so many buy rates.
And it's their biggest show of the year. I mean, they built that match for over 2 years. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll never do anything close to that. I mean, they'll do, I think, close to that. Maybe the Bash at the Beach where it's Dennis Rodman versus Karl Malone. Which Karl Malone is an awful person. I don't know if people know that or not, but yeah, look it up. Karl Malone is a statutory raping motherfucker who gets 13-year-old girls pregnant and then doesn't want to pay child support for them. So yeah, Karl Malone, everyone's hero in Utah, is a fucking piece of shit. So fuck you, Karl Malone.
Is he on Crime in Sports?
No, they only did a bonus show on him because he didn't do enough to get a full episode, but they did do a bonus show on him. Yeah, fuck you, Carl. Anyway, so we get into the pay-per-view here, and the very first match, Glenn, it is Brian Christopher taking on Taka Michinoku. It is the light heavyweight tournament final. So finally, Glenn, after an entire year of them pushing this light heavyweight division, we will finally crown a champion. I thought it was funny that Brian Christopher stole a Taka sign from the crowd and then ripped it up and pretended to wipe his ass with it, which was funny. What do you think about this match?
I enjoyed this match. Mainly because it was taken seriously. Brian Christopher wasn't, I know he did that with the sign, but he wasn't over the top, all that laughing all the time and the messing about. Taka was being Taka, and there was no Sunny.
That's true. She wasn't even on this show. She didn't get to be a special guest ring announcer for nothing.
Nope. So it was all a bonus, really.
And, Jerry the King Lawler didn't get involved a bunch. I mean, he did get involved a little bit. And I thought that some of the jokes that him and JR did were actually pretty funny. I know sometimes it's kind of eye-rolling, the stuff that they say, but I thought even what they did added to the match instead of hindering it or taking away from it, which it usually does.
It did.
But yeah, no, I agree. I really thought this was a good match and definitely a great way to start the show. Brian Christopher, of course, in the early opening stages of the match, starts using his upper body, his power and size strength that he has over Taka Michinoku to try to toss him around. But then Taka Michinoku is able to pick up the pace. He hits the springboard, plancha to the outside. Yeah, a lot of good back and forth action. Brian Christopher gets his lip busted open at one point when he misses the top rope dive to the outside.
That's gnarly. That actually looked like he was busted open the hard way there on that barrier.
Yeah, I'm going to say that was probably pretty legit because it looks very legit. Like sometimes if the guys do it to themselves, after a while it'll stop bleeding, like the blood will just stop.
Yeah.
This blood did not stop.
No.
It bled through the whole match. I thought he did a good job of playing it up to the camera. I'm sure Vince probably hated that in the back with him showing. I don't know. Maybe their stance on blood by early '97.
Vince is probably still having a go at the sound man.
Probably.
Who for some reason played Draws' music when Brian Christopher came out rather than Brian Christopher's theme.
Really? I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a really great back and forth match. Just when it looks like go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I love the way that when it began, they showed how much bigger and more powerful Brian Christopher was. That he was throwing Tucker around all over the place.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought it was a good way to start the match because they were really telling the story of obviously when you watch these light heavyweight matches, it's not very often that someone has a obvious size and strength advantage over the other because they're all usually fairly smaller guys. But they did a good job of telling the story, and then Taka is going to want to try to speed the match up, but Brian's going to want to slow it down. Actually showed us that Brian Christopher actually is a pretty damn good wrestler.
Oh yeah.
People aren't going to remember him for that because they're going to remember him for the gimmicks and being Jerry Lawler's son at the end of the day. But definitely a solid worker. It looks like he's about to land a top rope drop kick, a top rope leg drop to put Taka away, but Taka's able to move out of the way and hit the Michinoku driver and get the 3 count. And he is the winner and the first ever WWF Light Heavyweight Champion. I'm sure they had a light heavyweight division before, but he is the new holder of this new. Did you get a good look at the title belt that they made?
Yes. Well, I didn't get a good look at it, but I saw it.
I thought it looked rather silly. It was like a child's toy. They were like, "Oh, they're little people. Give them a toy to play with."
It did look a bit plasticky, didn't it?
Yeah, it really did.
The finish, it all seemed a bit hurried. I don't know whether the doctor had a peek and thought Christopher needs to come in because of his lip's still bleeding.
Or maybe they were like, we got to get him out of here. We got to get this match done because we got to have all the picture taking with Jack Lanza, Pat Patterson, Jerry.
Oh, God, yeah.
All the Japanese photographers. I haven't seen that many photographers around the ring since WrestleMania 11 when Lawrence Taylor fought Bam Bigelow.
That was typical, stereotypical WWF. That you got a mob of Japanese all kicking their cameras.
Or maybe they wanted to catch it. Maybe it's a big thing over in Japan to get this Japanese guy has won the light heavyweight championship of the World Wrestling Federation. Like maybe they set the movie over.
I'm sure they sold it like that in their magazines.
Oh, I'm absolutely sure they did. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, a really great light heavyweight match to open the show. It would be interesting to see where what happens now with the light heavyweight division going forward because I have no memory of it at all. So we'll see where it goes. And then we get one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen in my life, and I think we all need to watch it together. So let's have a look at this.
Corro por el mundo, mi corazón lleno de candela, nuestro mis batallas, pegando mi bandera. Puertorriqueña, misteriosa, las aguas azules. Que corta por azules, pues, manos para arriba. Manos para arriba.
Yeah.
What? What is that? The one guy was just like,
It's just been given a mic. Mime into that.
Here, get out there. Yeah, I mean, they did lip syncing there that would have made Milli Vanilli blush. DOA comes out. They're going to face the Los Barriquas. Luckily, DOA didn't do like a biker song or something. And if they had, it probably would have been better done than that. Crush is still out because of the attack from Kane. So it's Chain, Skull, and 8 Ball versus Miguel Jesus.
He's gone south.
Who's gone south?
Crush.
What do you mean south?
He's gone south. He's gone to WCW.
Really?
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah. In the notes here, it says, Crush Brian Adams has been a member of DOA as well, but he jumped to WCW following the Montreal screw job in order to join the NWO.
Well, then, it's going to be rough for the DOA, I suppose.
So, yeah, we're not going to see him again. And the DOA ain't going to last much longer either.
Yeah, because if there's no Crush, then I guess that's a good way to ride him out. Did his attack by Kane happen before the Montreal Screwdriver or after? It must have been before, huh?
It was just before.
Okay, there you go. I just assumed that it was because they were just having him on. I think they said it on the broadcast, though. Actually, I think they said he was out because of the attack from Kane. But I guess he's off to WCW. So it's the only members of DOA versus Miguel Jesus and Jose of the Los Barriquas. For me, this was absolutely the worst match on the show.
It definitely was. Although the crowd were entertaining in a racist sort of way.
Well, they're changing Shave Your Back at Miguel.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, is that racist? Because you could also chant that at George the Animal Steel.
I suppose so, but he never did get that chance.
That's a good point.
Probably because people were worried that he'd actually go out there and eat them.
That's also a very, very good point. Yeah. I guess the best way to describe this is if you went back and watched every 6-man or 8-man faction that we've watched over the entire year of 1997, it was this match.
Yeah, it's and it's totally confusing because even on commentary they get confused between 8 Ball and Skull or whatever it is.
Well, that's fine because I'll never know anyway. So they can call go what to do. They call him dipshit and fuckface. I'll never know which one's which. I don't know.
It's big brothers. Just
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, one of them gets hurt, so Sabio comes out there who had already been ejected by the referee and tries to get into the match, but they tell him no. It looks like Chains is going to win after a Death Valley driver, but then Jesus comes off. But then Miguel comes off the top rope with a flip. He does like a front flip leg drop and to the head of Chains, and then Jose pins him, and the Los Barriquas win. So the only thing different about this faction match as opposed to any other one that we've watched is we actually got a pinfall victory. Most of it in this month.
Although losing to a leg drop, it didn't make Chains look weak.
Yeah, but he'll be wrestling in Ohio Mountain Wrestling by next Thursday, so it doesn't matter.
No, that's true.
He'll be getting arrested and telling people his name is Mark Calloway.
Yeah.
We then hear from Butterbean, who apparently who just was in a boxing match 24 hours prior. He competed against Doug Phillips. You heard of Doug Phillips?
No.
Absolutely not. Me neither. He won by unanimous decision. It was the opening fight on the undercard of an Oscar De La Hoya fight. Have you heard of Oscar De La Hoya?
Oh, great fighter. Yes.
Yeah, also, absolutely a great fighter. Yeah. I was never really a fan of Oscar De La Hoya. I always found him to be a bit boring, so I was always happy when he got beat up. But anyway, so I would show you some of the Butterbean promo, but it's not good. It's probably not worth watching. Well, he's a great boxer, not a good wrestling promo.
He's not a great boxer either. It's certainly not shadow boxing. But we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, well, we do hear from him. What were you gonna say?
I said because we've got Michael Cole with Sable.
That's why we will hear a bit of what Sable tries to say here. So let's hear what she's got.
Now, people want to know. They want to know where your heart is. They want to know whose corner you will be in tonight. Will it be Butterbeans or Marvelous Mark Miros?
Well, Michael, my heart is definitely in the right place. It is definitely with Mark. I mean, Marvelous Mark.
So you will be in Marvelous Mark.
Did I give you permission to do this interview? Did I even say you could speak?
No.
This is my moment. This is about me. I've been telling you I'm the star of this show, and stop trying to steal my spotlight. Because I'm going to go out there and knock out Butterbean. I'm going to go out there and destroy that fat tub of crap, and I'm going to do it right now.
What's a dickhead?
I mean, 100%. Yeah. No wonder she left him for Brock Lesnar.
No surprise at all.
So it's time, Glenn. It is Marvelous Mark Mero to take on Butterbean in a 5-round tough man contest. Butterbean comes down to some of the most god-awful music that I've ever heard. And I don't think it was even dubbed over either because it didn't sound like it was. It sounded like it was coming through the arena speakers. We get a big stare down as the ref explains the rules to the two guys. I don't know. The first round, I guess, was a feeling out process.
Mark Mero showed that he can throw a work punch. And Butterbean couldn't quite work out how to.
Not yet, I guess. I don't know. It was the first round was a bit awkward, I guess, because they were trying to make it look like a legitimate boxing match, and at least in the first round. Of course, after the bell rings, Mero punches Butterbean in the back of the head as he went to the corner. When the second round starts, Mero charges across the ring and knees Butterbean in the back of the head as he's turning around. He starts choking him with some tape. And he starts working him over with some punches. He's raking his eyes. He hits him with a drop kick. You got anything from this one that you wanted to make note of?
No, you've covered it.
Sorry.
You made it sound as bad as it was.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Boxing and wrestling doesn't mix. Simple reason. You can get away with working with wrestling, but you can't get away with working boxing. Not without the sort of camera angles that they did in the Rocky films. Yeah. And even then, I know Sly Stallone took some stiff punches.
Yeah, it would take multiple cameras, shots, and it would take a lot too.
Yeah.
And so they tried their best by doing as much shenanigans as they could. I don't know. So Butterbean's really pissed off by the third round. He's going right after Mero. He's trying to keep him. He's using his size to keep him in the corner of the ropes. He lands one big shot to Mero's face, but Mero is saved by the bell. But Butterbean doesn't want him to be knocked out, so he says he wants the spit bucket, and he goes and throws it all over Mero, but you can clearly tell it's not a spit bucket, it's a bucket full of water.
Yeah.
So that wakes Mero up. Mero hits a low blow on him when the referee isn't looking. He hits him over the head with a stool he's sitting on the corner. And then the referee does see this. So Butterbean wins by DQ. He chases Mero to the back after the match. And I just don't know what they thought they were going to gain by this.
What they were gaining from it was a feud that was going to go into the Brawl for All. But it never happened with Mark Mero.
Yeah, Brawl for All doesn't happen until WrestleMania 15 either. It's not like of the year, yeah.
No, that was the original plan for it. Then it got shelved and came back later into a certain Mr. McMahon's head.
Well, and also maybe maybe the Mike Tyson thing changed it because maybe he was like, oh, I don't want to have two boxing things. And I don't have Mike Tyson and another boxing thing on the same WrestleMania. Like maybe Tyson was like that or something like that, I don't know. And then things got really weird because the artist formerly known as Goldust and Lou come out here. And they read a book from my childhood in a way that I've never heard before. We read Green Eggs and Ham.
Yeah.
Hold on.
So,
okay, now we're good.
Yeah, so it was green eggs and ham, and a lot of uncomfortableness. And anybody that has paid for this pay-per-view thinks, what the hell is going on here? Why have I paid money to watch wrestling and get in this?
Or anyone watching it 20 years later is wondering, what the fuck am I doing? Why?
Well, somebody just fast forward through it. So
yeah, so that happens. Finally, he's in the middle of the book, and Luna just slaps him, knocks him to the ground, and then drags him on his leash to the back. We then hear from the LOD, and that's always fun.
Yeah.
You ran like a couple of sissies. You hightailed it out, got in your car, but you left one thing behind. We got our spikes back first. Then you took our titles. You are lucky to make it here tonight. We take pride in being the best that the WWF's got to offer. You two punks are going down. We're going to kick your teeth right down your throat. Tell them, Hawk. Well, Mr. Dogg, Mr. Ass, you two remind me of a deeply embedded booger right up my right nostril, and my fingertip and its nail are just a little too short to get to. But I dig, and I dig, and finally I get that booger, and I get it in here, and I roll it around, and I flick it. Get ready to get flicked, because tonight, Road Dogg and Mr. Ass, you are the equivalent of mine and his boogers. What a booger!
Welcome to the Children's Hour.
I was going to say nothing.
A weird man.
More attitude than boogers, Glenn.
Where a weird man will read Dr. Zeus, followed by two weird men talking about picking their noses and boogers.
Sorry, I haven't even put those two together, but you're right. That is awful strange. My favorite part is that he was calling him Mr. He called him Mr. Dogg and Mr. Ass. I thought that was pretty cool. Oh, what a booger!
There was a bit of foreshadowing with the Mr. Ass thing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Who knew what would come to pass with Mr. Ass? I didn't even mean for that to rhyme like that, but it did. The next match, of course, then is the WWF Tag Team Champions, the New Age Outlaws, defending their newly won championships against the former champions, the Legion of Doom. Road Dogg comes out telling everyone that they're their tour guards for the Jurassic Park, tells everyone not to feed the dinosaurs. LOD keep trying to go at them before they come down to the ring, but they keep running to the back. Say, well, we got to do more stretching. Finally, Gerald Briscoe comes out with some officials, and they make them go to the ring. LOD grabs them, throws them into the ring. What do you think about this Tag Team Championship match?
I enjoyed it, actually. The Road Warriors, or Legion of Doom, whatever you want to call them, doing what they do, especially from the start, where they're clobbering Road Dogg, yes. Jesse James. It was basically what you'd expect from those two against the Legion of Doom.
Yeah, I mean, right now the New Age Outlaws are obviously the chicken shit heel tag team, and they perform like chicken shit. And basically, Road Dogg gets beat up, and then Billy kind of comes in, does the heavy lifting for the squad, because that's what the New Age Outlaws are all about. I noticed, like, the weird part for me is, like, you notice how I noticed that most tag team matches you'll get one guy up at the far corner at the top of the camera in a corner, and one guy at the far corner.
Yeah.
But they were like switched. They were in different sides. He had one here and here instead of here and here. So like when the camera was wide, you couldn't see both guys. They usually try to get one here so you can see both sides when the camera's wide. But on this time, you could only see one person when the camera was wide. So I thought it was weird that they didn't switch them. And that's my own weird mind. But did you notice that when you were watching it?
No, not particularly.
I was like, why don't they move them? I don't know. It was
I was too more worried about how a polystyrene ice cooler or whatever it was could knock a road warrior out.
Yeah, it looked like it was styrofoam. It had like a WWF logo on it.
Yeah.
Do you think they were selling WWF coolers at that point?
I would not be surprised.
Yeah, they were like $60, even though they were one of the fucking foam ones you could get at the gas station for like $8.
They had to use up all the extra polystyrene and foam that they had left over from the waving hand things.
That's probably what it was. Yeah,
they used to charge about 20 quid for.
Yeah, and the King's like, those are our soft drinks. There's like 40 drinks in there. There's 4 announcers. How much are you guys drinking? And like, if you drink all that, how do you pee?
Yeah, that's right.
Where are you putting all that liquid, pal? You got the pins on, or what's happening? Yeah, they hit a low blow on Hog when the ref isn't looking. They hit him in the head with the cooler, like he says. The Road Dogg did the worm at one point in this match, which I remember Scotty Heidi doing the worm a lot, but not really the Road Dogg, so that was interesting. They work Hawk over. They beat him with the ice chest some more. Hawk is eventually able to tag an animal. He kind of cleans house. It looks like LOD are about to hit their finisher, and then for some god-awful reason, Henry Godwin hits the ring, hits Animal with the bucket, which Hawk then goes crazy, gets a hold of the bucket, and just starts hitting everybody with it, including the referee, which gets them disqualified. Why the fuck are the Godwins still bothering with LOD? Like, get over it already.
Trying to stay relevant.
For fucking crying out loud, man. I was like, why the Godwins?
Because you've got a heel tag team as the champions. And then there's nobody else in the tag division at the moment that the Godwins could actually wrestle against apart from LOD.
I always hope that I'll never have to see another Godwin's LOD match, and every time I'm fucking disappointed. So the New Age Outlaws win by DQ. Every time the championships.
So, yeah, I bet we will see a few more yet as well.
I bet you're fucking right, Glenn. It's then time for the big boot camp match. I know we've been chomping at the bit for this one, but first we got to hear the pre-match promos, of course.
What I got right here is a special survival kit for Sergeant Slaughter. I've got all I'm going to need to beat Sergeant Slaughter in this bag. I've got a comb specially made to comb his hair so it'll look good when he goes to the ring. I've got Metamucil. I've got prunes to loosen the old man up. And don't worry, Sarge, I've got your back covered too, because I got you some Depends. Listen up, Slaughter. This is not your generation. This is not the next generation. This, and put that camera on me, idiot, this is degeneration. And Slaughter, remember, X marks the spot. And when I get done, Slaughter, there'll be no hard feelings. As a matter of fact, I might take a swing by your house and let your old lady take a smoke of the peace pipe.
Helmsley, you piece of human excretion. I didn't come here tonight to come out of retirement. I didn't come here tonight for a wrestling match. I came here tonight to fight a scum, a slime, and a maggot that insulted my family. Helmsley, you puke. I might be old, but I'm not dead. And this old jarhead is gonna beat you up and beat you up bad
God. Why is he yelling?
Because that's what all 80s wrestlers did.
I think he spit on me from 1997. How the fuck that happened?
You need one of those masks.
Yeah, shit. Spitting everywhere. It's funny that Depends has come up twice on this show. I didn't even see that happening. AWF Pod, not sponsored by Depends. If you're feeling like your bladder's a little leaky, grab yourself some Depends and you'll be able to sleep through the night. You'll be able to watch an entire soccer match without having to run to the bathroom. That's the worst, Glenn, is when you really got to go, but you're like, come on, I need it. But I can't leave the room, but you really got to go.
Half time.
Yeah, you're like, go on, halftime. I got to pee. You're hoping somebody gets hurt. So you, please.
7 minutes injury time.
Yeah. You're like, no, I got to pee. Yeah. Yeah. I just started just fucking bringing it up on my phone. Just take it with me.
Because you know, the minute you turn your back, somebody's going to score.
Yeah, I'm going to leave the room. Either they're going to score or we're going to get scored on. And either way, I'm going to be pissed that I missed it. And pissed anyway. But speaking of pissed, it's the boot camp match between Sergeant Slaughter and Triple H. Sarge comes down to the You Suck Kurt Angle music. I guess he stole it from the Patriot. Wasn't the Patriot using it? Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So I felt like this was going to be really bad before I watched it, and I'm not saying that it was good, but I also didn't think it was bad either.
No, the Sarge did some decent bumping for Triple H.
Yeah, he absolutely did a lot more bumping than I thought he would.
Yeah, considering he's like 49 or 50 at this point.
Yeah.
And not wrestled for a few years.
Right. I was gonna say, when you put that in context of like now, where dudes are wrestling like into their 50s and doing just.
Oh yeah, that has nothing compared to now.
Yeah.
PCO was wrestling when the Sarge was.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. I was gonna say he's wrestling in WCW currently, and yeah, but especially when you've taken a lot of years off, and like when you look at like and I'm not taking away anything from what the guys do today, but they don't live the same sort of lives that those guys in the 80s lived.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And they've also taken better care of their bodies because they're not out, staying out till God knows when, doing God knows what. You know what I mean? That's another reason why guys last a lot longer. That's why people always are like, I wanted to go back to the days where wrestlers got into fights at bars. Oh, yeah, and died when they were 40? Is that what you want to go back to? That sounds like fun. That was cool, right? When they all fucking died before they reached the age of 50? Yeah, let's go back to that. You're right. You're right. That's what we're missing. Jesus. Anyway, yeah, no, I thought it was a pretty good match. A lot of good bumping from Sarge.
It's a shame that they sort of threw it together. If they'd actually created a story for a few months on this and got people behind the Sarge because of all the Dogg's abuse that he was getting from DX,
yeah,
then there may have been a bit more sympathy for him.
Yeah, and especially like this era of wrestling fans, they were never really going to root for Sergeant Slaughter. You know what I mean?
No, they were all over Triple H.
Yeah, I mean, most of these kids are between the ages of 12 and 16. They're not going to root for Sergeant Slaughter. It's not going to happen. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in this match. They're using weapons. He's got a riding crop he's whipping him with. He's hitting him with his belt. He's choking him with it. Sarge got a lot more offense in the opening parts of this match than I thought he would, because he really controlled much of the opening parts of the match that Sarge did.
And Triple H got to show how good a seller he is as well. In those early stages, like when he was selling the belt across the back and the riding crop across the throat.
Yeah, he was selling like $1 million. Like in going back and watching this 1997 stuff, I've probably said this before, but like Triple H has never been my favorite wrestler or a guy that I would even say is in my top 5 of my favorite wrestlers. But when you go back and look at what Triple H does in the ring, he's really, really good. And just such a solid way. He just does little things that I think most guys wouldn't even think to do. And when it's just like either their facial expression or just the way he can sell something. And I think he gets a bad rap sometimes, but when you watch this, he's fucking selling his ass off for the Sarge. And if he was such a jerk that everybody made him out to be when he was in DX or with the Click or whatever, I don't think he would sell as hard for Sergeant Slaughter as he is here. So I was really impressed with Triple H in this match, with the selling and everything that he did to try to put everything that Sarge was doing over, because that's probably really what made the match. Because if he didn't sell so hard and make the Sarge actually look like he could do something, we would have never believed it, and it would have been, crap.
There's one point where the Sarge showed what a good old pro he is. He tried to pick Triple H up to slam him, but dropped him. But then sold his back.
Yeah. Very smart.
So people didn't actually realize that it was a botch.
Yeah.
It just seemed like he was given out.
Or he legitimately hurt his back. One or the other. We're not sure. So then, like at one point, Hunter's got Sarge in a sleeper hold. They check his arm on the third try. It doesn't go down, and he turns the sleeper hold into a camel clutch, which brings China into the ring. She knocks the referee down. She rakes the eyes of Sergeant Slaughter. The referee gets back up and then makes the unwise decision of getting into China's face, which she then knocks him out, as one does. She goes and gets a chair. She looks to hit the Sarge with it, but he throws powder into her eyes. Hunter then hits Sarge in the head with his boot. He then tries for it again, but Sarge ducks it, locks in the camel clutch again. It looks like the Sarge is about to win, but then China kicks him right in the balls. Hunter gets up, pedigrees him on a chair for the 3 count and the win. I honestly would give this match probably 2.8 stars, almost 3. So it's a pretty good match, I think.
Oh yeah. As you said, it was a lot better than we thought it was going to be. So they did a good job, the pair of them.
And I legitimately, at times, did believe that Sergeant Slaughter was going to win. I really did. At that last time, after he threw this powder in China's eyes, I really thought that he was going to beat him with the Cobra Clutch. But it makes more sense for Triple H to win it anyway. So, yeah. Very pleasantly surprised by that match.
Yes.
And then finally, Glenn, we will get the in-ring debut of one Jeff Jarrett. He is taking on The Undertaker.
I still didn't believe it. Even when Michael Cole was interviewing him, I didn't believe it. I thought they were going to swerve us.
Did you think he was going to try to back out, or did you think we were going to get a mini
I thought it was going to be a mini Undertaker or something.
I wish it would have been.
Yeah.
I'll talk about what I figured was going to happen, because I didn't think we'd get a match either. But I don't want to spoil the end for anyone who didn't already watch this. So Jeff Jarrett and Butterbean are tied for really bad music, because Jeff Jarrett has really bad music, and it has like his own ring introduction of him introducing himself in it, and it's not good. It would make Dan Griffin want to rip the ears off his own head. I think. The Undertaker comes down is in fact the Undertaker, the real Undertaker. What did you think about this? It wasn't a terribly long match, but it was something.
No, it was the typical Undertaker at this time match against somebody that knows what they're doing, Jeff Jarrett. Technically proficient. That's all we could say about it, really. It wasn't amazing or outstanding or anything. It was just technically proficient.
Yeah, Taker works Jeff over for a while. Jarrett starts to come back. He's working on Undertaker's knee. he looks like he's going to put him in the figure four, but Undertaker grabs him for a choke slam. But then Undertaker ends up having him in the corner, and he's going to lay some punches in on him. And the lights go out, and the pyro goes off, and here comes Paul Bearer and Kane. He comes into the ring. Jeff Jarrett makes the wise decision to try to instruct Kane what to do to the Undertaker. So Kane choke slams him, but if you think about it, it makes sense because that gets the Undertaker disqualified, which means the Undertaker loses the match.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose that's just another way of them to make the Undertaker's life a living hell, because who wants to lose to Jeff Jarrett, you know?
No, not at all. And I love the way that Jarrett, when he came round, looked round, seeing one, and started celebrating.
Yeah. That was good. So Kane just punches the Undertaker one time in the face. They do a little stare down for a second, punches him one time. They do the big turnbuckle pyro, and they just leave the ring. Yeah, Jarrett gets up, kind of celebrates a little, realizes the Undertaker's still down, starts attacking. That's when he chokeslammed him. I'm sorry, I had my wires crossed there. That after the match is when he tried to put the figure four on him, and the Undertaker chokeslammed him. Yeah. So Jeff Jarrett does win in what they kept calling as his WWF debut, but that's bullshit because he debuted in the WWF in fucking 1994. So. His re-debut. They did a really weird interview with Mark Henry. He was sitting at the very top of the arena too, like at the very top.
Yeah, it was very strange.
I recently saw the Undertaker has a podcast now, and he did it. He had Mark Henry on, and Mark Henry was telling a story about when he was originally with the WWF in 1996. He got in trouble and sent to Canada because he threatened to kill Shawn Michaels and the entire clique.
Wow.
And he said it as easily as I would say, "Hey Glenn, we're going to McDonald's later." He said it like it was just matter of factly, and the Undertaker just starts busting out laughing. He's like, "You're just nonchalantly, you just said that." It's hilarious, but yeah, I just thought this whole thing was really weird because they're asking about like Milton Bradley, and I'm like, why is he sitting so high up?
Yeah.
But he does say he'll be back in the WWF in about a week or so, which is a weird way to. I don't want to spoil anything, but I remember how he comes back, and it's pretty good. They asked him if he thinks Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock will win the Intercontinental Championship match, and he says he thinks Stone Cold will win. He says he's a big fan of Stone Cold. We then get a whole video recapping everything that's going on between these two. Of course, a promo from The Rock where he says not only will he beat Stone Cold Steve Austin tonight, he will embarrass him.
And he's the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time.
Oh, of course, he's the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. He comes down with the entire nation to a chorus of Rocky sex chants. He gets on the mic and says, "It is indeed time for The Rock to defend his Intercontinental Championship." Stone Cold Steve Austin drives his Austin 316 truck down to the ring. And when I say down to the ring, literally right up to the ringside.
Yeah. I couldn't understand why he did it until a bit later. Then you realize why he did it.
Yeah, they start brawling immediately, but before the bell rings, the nation starts attacking Austin. They gang up on him. He then backdrops D'Lo over the top rope and onto the top of the truck and on the windshield of the truck. And that's why he did it. What do you think about this match?
It's good to see The Rock. For really the first time. Although they're not calling it the People's Elbow yet. But knowing what's coming, this is a good start to the feud.
Yeah, this is one of their first. I'm pretty sure that the thing between them is going to continue into the coming weeks. Yeah, Austin, Kama tries to hit him with a chair, but he misses and hits Farouk, and then he throws Kama into the truck. My funniest thing is Austin wrestled this whole match with his vest on. He never got it off.
That's because he's full of tape and scars and things where it had been operated on.
Well, I mean, he wrestled against Owen Hart without it on.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he did take it off for the
celebration, yeah, but he was just so busy fighting all the nation, he didn't have a chance to get it off. Rock takes control. He stomps him in the corner. We see a couple of people's elbows. I think he does one full one where he takes the armband off and everything, but he misses that one. This was a really short match. I don't even think it went 5 minutes, but it was super entertaining. Not like a lot of mat wrestling or really wrestling at all. It was just a lot of brawling and a lot of high spots. Austin looks like he's going to hit the stone on the Rock, but Kama gets up on the apron, so he punches him off. He then gives the ref a stunner because he thinks it's the Rock. The Rock then tries to hit Austin with some brass knuckles. Austin counters. It's a stunner. One of the fastest times I've ever seen another referee hit the ring comes out and hits the ring. It's that old thing that Glenn always says, of sometimes we can't find a ref anywhere, and sometimes the ref hits the ring immediately. So Austin wins. He's got the Intercontinental Championship match. Like I said, not long, but really entertaining.
Like I said, it was good for what it was. Austin did a good job of disguising how actually injured he is at this point to even have a match.
Yeah, because the Owen Hart match wasn't long either, so you can tell that they're really trying to maybe just reacclimate him back in before he goes into this super long run of the Royal Rumble and everything they got going on for 1998 for him. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And he really didn't have to do a whole lot, especially with all the high spots that he did with the Nation members. They really took the bumps. He didn't have to. So definitely a really good way to, like you said, kick off the feud that's going to go on for many, many years over many, many WrestleManias between. I mean, a lot of people, I wouldn't consider them the two greatest superstars of all time, in my opinion, but a lot of people would. And I can understand that argument too. That's kind of really a subjective thing, in my opinion. I guess if you wanted to go solely by numbers, then it isn't subjective. But I'm always going to say that's a subjective thing.
Wouldn't life be boring if we all had the same opinions about everything?
It would.
Yeah, there wouldn't be any discussion, would there?
Also, you don't really learn in anything when you talk to someone who always agrees with you. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So there's that. Yeah, we then get a video hyping the entire feud of Shawn Michaels and Ken Shamrock, and then we get dueling promos. And so let's hear from both men.
I do have a lot of experience in pay-per-view fights. That's what I am. I'm a fighter. Shawn Michaels, you're a good wrestler. You have great experience and good conditioning. But I tell you this, when I get in my zone, there'll be a lot of hurting going on. And there's one thing that you can count on tonight. You will be squealing like a baby.
How do I deal with Ken Shamrock? It's easy. I go out there and show him why I am exactly what you just said. It was miserable for you to have to spit it out. But the number one man in the World Wrestling Federation, the number one man in this industry is a heart-baked kid, Shawn Michaels, and I'm going to show you why in just a couple of minutes.
My name is Ken Shamrock, and I am Ken Shamrock, and I fight a lot as Ken Shamrock, and I do ankle locks and Ken Shamrock and stuff.
Will hurt you.
Ken Shamrock, fighter. That's what that promo felt like to me.
That was uncanny. It was like he was in the room.
It's like he was here. Yeah, so he's usually not that bad either, but I don't know what it was about that. Maybe he got hit in the head with a chair too many times before that one. I'm not sure, but which is weird. I like that. Go ahead.
He's not been there for 5 minutes. He's not been in WWF for 5 minutes. The only reason that he's getting a title shot here is there's nobody else.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like we don't want to do Shawn Michaels Undertaker yet, so we have to wait a month for that. We don't want to do that at December paper. You got to save that for January. So just get Shamrock in there.
Yeah, and we've got Stone Cold will be ready for WrestleMania 14.
Right.
So we don't want to push that yet.
Yeah.
So they didn't have anybody. There's no, apart from Well, Stone Cold and HBK, that is the top echelon in this whole roster at the moment.
You're right. Yeah.
You've got Triple H and The Rock just underneath that, and then there's a huge mid card.
There's and like you got like a chasm of a mid card. You got like The Rock, Triple H, Mankind, right? Dude Loves on this level, and then you've got like Undertaker, Steve Austin, and I would even say Kane at this point because I know he's only had one match, but like he's looked at as upon that level of the Undertaker, Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels. So you're right. You don't really have a lot of head and shoulders above guys, and you're going to see a lot of people come into their own and becomes head and shoulders above guys in the coming years. But right now, you really don't. You need more attitude, Glenn. That's what you need, right?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
That's a great point, though. I like that they showed both guys like walking from their locker room to the ring. I always like that for wrestling. It just makes it feel more like a big fight feel. When you have, I mean, you shouldn't do it for every match, but to do it for the main events, I think is always a good thing. So I mean, I thought this was a really good match. Probably the best match Ken Shamrock's had in his short WWF career.
Helped by Shawn Michaels bumping all over the place for him.
100%. Yeah,
he was throwing himself around like a good one.
As he usually is. He's always a bumping machine out there.
I know, but you could tell that he was clean and fit.
Well, I don't know about clean, but probably fit, yeah.
Well, no, because in his book he said that he's clean by this point. Because there was him and Vince had a big sit down about what he was going to do in DX and what he wouldn't do because of his religious beliefs.
I don't think because he gets pretty heavy into the pills and stuff in '98 because he hurts his back. So I don't think he gets into the religious stuff until he gets together with his wife.
Oh, right. I got the timing wrong then. Sorry.
Yeah, I think at this point he might. Unfortunately, he's probably not doing what he should, which is strange because you think like I'm pretty sure Triple H is a guy who like will have a drink but doesn't really drink. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's just one of those guys where like there's certain people that even like that I know they're not gonna sit at home and have a drink by themselves. But if we go out and everybody's having a drink, yeah, I'll have one drink since everybody.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what Triple H is. Or if it's like, hey, let's all have a drink to celebrate whatever. It's like, well, I don't want to be disrespectful, so I'll have that one drink to celebrate whatever this person wants to celebrate. So it was kind of strange to think of a like dichotomy that they must have had of Triple H having to put him to fucking bed every night and be like, I'm so having to do this because I don't want to take care of a drunk person or a pilled up person. I just couldn't imagine what that would be like. But anyway, Shawn Michaels is a much better person now. We all thank God for that, or whoever that you pray to. But yeah, I don't know. A good match. Shawn Michaels using his speed to stay away from Ken Shamrock, but he can't forever. He starts, like Gunn said, bumping all over the place. DX, of course, getting involved. They're beating up on Ken Shamrock outside the ring.
I love that when he got hold of the pair of them and banged their heads together. I got a big pop.
That's what you've been hoping for. But then Shawn Michaels lands a low blow behind the referee's back, so he's able to take control for a little bit. Triple H is beating Shamrock more up on the outside. Shawn Michaels does a dive off the top rope onto Ken Shamrock, really just pulling out all the stops. We get a sleeper hold spot, which Ken Shamrock's able to fight out of. I don't know. You got any notes from this match?
I love the idea that when Shamrock was mauling HBK, he tried to suplex him and he held on to the referee.
Oh, yeah.
While he was blocking Elhead there, he gets in the backward kick.
Yeah, that was pretty genius. Yeah, definitely. Shawn Michaels, the referee, I don't know. Eventually it ends when Shamrock hits a belly to belly, and it looks like he's about to put Ken Shamrock. Ken Shamrock's about to put Ken Shamrock in the ankle lock, which was a sight. No,
Yeah.
Ken Shamrock's about to put Shawn Michaels in the ankle lock, and then of course Hunter and trying to hit the ring. So it ends in a DQ. Shawn Michaels is kind of celebrating on the apron when a man shows up from nowhere. Glenn pushes him off, starts beating him up. And it's Owen Hart, Glenn. Not all the Harts are gone because Owen Hart is still here. He's beating up Shawn Michaels. Once Triple H finally sees this, he runs over. Owen Hart. They didn't have no security out there for Owen Hart because he was getting mauled by fans as he was trying to escape.
Yeah, and he still did a good job of it, so it shows he's fit.
Yeah, fit enough at least to fight off a bunch of people in Springfield, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Ken Shamrock wins by DQ, but Shawn Michaels keeps the belt, and the show goes off the air with DX kind of winding up the fans a little bit. But they're planting the seed that maybe you're going to be seeing a Shawn Michaels Owen Hart feud. You won't.
Sadly.
And that's probably because Shawn Michaels didn't want to work with him. Well, that's it. That is it for In Your House D Generation X. I won't give it 2 thumbs up, but I'll give it 1. I'd say it was a pretty solid pay-per-view.
One thumb. Which is better than there has been a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, if I went back and really looked at it, I would think that would probably be in my top 5 97 pay-per-views. I know there's only 12 of them, but I'd definitely probably be my top 5.
Yeah, it'd be in the top half, definitely.
Yeah, it would definitely be. If it was the Premier League, it would not be getting that card would not be getting relegated to the second division. To make a football analogy, because we didn't talk about any football today, because as you know, there's no Arsenal until. Well, there was the FA Cup final, but who cares?
Well, I wanted to talk about those two.
Yeah. We do have the Champions League final this weekend, though, which is Dortmund versus what is it? Real Madrid.
Yeah,
I'm going to root for Madrid just because they have Bellingham.
Good enough reason.
Yeah, there's no reason to root for Dortmund. They don't. They had Gio Reyna from USA, but they sent him off to Nottingham Forest, so now there's no reason to root for them. So I'll root for Madrid, which is weird for me because I always hated Ronaldo, so I never rooted for Madrid because he played for them, and now I'll have to root for them. So, but anyway, Glenn, that is it for this episode of Warring to Attitude. Who do you want to plug before we get out of here?
I'm booking the territory with Rob and Dan. The first and last of wrestling, and their side projects, Unstacking the Dadatory, Gator Golf, being the elite Gator Golf, where they're not actually doing any Gator Golf now. They've just finished up season 2, doing all sorts of weird and wonderful sports. If you could
The
call them.
wacky, wonderful world of being the elite sports.
Yeah. And of course,
The Doctor Who podcast with Danny and Cy, who are going to have a special guest coming up soon on a feature episode, right? Glenn?
it was out today with me as the special guest on this week's. We're talking about the Patrick Trout episode, The Invasion.
Check that out. That is on SJP World Media.
And DDT Wrestling with DC and Doc.
There you go. Give all those fine people, fantastic people, a follow and a listen. And, of course, check out the other member of our podcast team, the Mayor of Canton. You can follow him on the Twitter X at Mayor of Canton. He does a meal with the mayor every Wednesday. What are you going to say?
Do you see? He's on Threads now.
Is he?
Yeah.
I did not see that. Wow.
I got a notification that I'm following him on Threads.
Well, there you go. Check him out on Threads, too. Maybe he'll post his meal with the mayor videos there, too. But check him out definitely on Twitter because they definitely will be there every Wednesday. I think he's taking a couple weeks off now, but he'll probably be back this week after the holiday break. And, yeah, make sure you check out Sports Wire Radio, of course, to give our buddy Thomas Bryce a follow on all the social media platforms. Just search Thomas, Brice. B with the Rice. He should become a rapper and be called Thomas B. Rice. with his New York accent, I think it would work out for him. You should try that out, Tom. See if you like it. Yeah, and check out the SportsWire Radio website. It's SportsWireRadio with the Z.org. Hit that listen live button. You can hear us and many other great podcasts covering an array of sports from wrestling to every other sport that you could possibly think of. And of course, check out the Life and Times of Psycho Sid. We'll have a new episode out this week. I'm not sure what he's going to be doing, but I'm sure he'll be beating up somebody. Probably not getting slopped because he's done with Henry Godwin, but he'll be on to someone else. And I think we'll be back to Memphis wrestling this week because I actually have time to record a full episode because I don't have to work day and night this week. That's it, though. I don't have anything else to say. I don't think. That's all. Glenn just has to say his catchphrase, which is
Goodbye.